Hello people, welcome back to True Take and thanks for watching the video. In this one I want to really highlight the importance that uneducated men, more specifically young men who are uneducated on women and they're just finding their way through life, I feel like they really need to understand that the level of hatred for men just being men out there through feminism, they need to understand it. And that although some women may appear nice, maybe because they're attracted to you, they might be harbouring that deep hatred for men. So in one instance, primarily, like by instinct and nature and design, they might be attracted to you. But their frontal brain, their modern brain, is programmed with modern ideology and hatred and feminism towards men. And you need to be able to spot that, because if you can't spot that, you are setting yourself up for nothing but misery. You cannot have a happy relationship with a feminist or a woman who has a feministic mindset. It is impossible, because the fundamental programming and ideology of feminism is to hate men. This video gives you just an example of some of the depths and the levels of hatred that women have towards men. It's a video by Tommy NFG and it's called The Femcel Epidemic. So let's watch the video and you'll see for yourself just how horrible women can be towards men just for being men. So let's just, let's watch this.
You can't sing fierce, you can't. I still got more money than you, and you're still a man.
A huge red flag for me. All right. It's so crazy. I was gonna say men. Strike one. You're a man. Yeah. And you're heterosexual.
This is the same woman, by the way, signed by Kendrick Lamar's label. A straight man with a family who also associates with individuals from the hood that are probably 10 times.
So do you see the delusion? The hatred and the delusion? That is the key things with feminists and these women who follow this mindset. Because like you seen, that woman just said she hates she hates straight men, heterosexual men, and a man that's giving her food on her table and promoting her is the exact man that she says that she hates. So this is what we're talking about. It's like a fundamental thing that you need to avoid, because these women are delusional and filled with hate, and in my opinion they're demonic. And unless you want a demonic woman, a demonic wife, you would avoid these type of women.
Times worse men than the average man is friends with. So yeah, y'all, today we're here to talk about the topic of quote-unquote femcells. And the definition is, well, yeah, female incel. Don't think I gotta define that one. But I personally feel like we gotta distinguish it differently. Usually when a man is defined as a quote-unquote incel, it's because he literally can't pull and takes it out on women because of it. You could look like the former queen as a woman, my and there's a hornball dude out there who would lay pipe. For femcells, it's more of their hatred for men that stops them from even trying to pursue a relationship. And they think since every man is terrible, they shouldn't put themselves out in the playing field. Now let's get...
And in my opinion, I feel like it's sort of a masculine women who just can't handle the fact that men are just superior. The only thing that women are better at than men is giving birth. In my opinion, there's nothing on this earth that women are better at than men, and I feel like that's where the hatred comes from. It's just insecurity and jealousy, just from a default, from being a woman and a man, and not being able to accept that men are just superior. Strength, intelligence, men make the world go round, etc. And you'll get these incel these femcel women, these feminist femcells who will say they don't need men, men are useless. Really? So if we were to just take every man away off this planet, how do you think the world would run? I don't think they would get on very well, do you?
Two obvious things out in the beginning. Yes, I know not all women are femcells, and yes, there are bad, terrible men out there who should be condemned. But it won't matter to these femcells if I say something like that anyway.
I wouldn't say Andrew Tate's a bad, terrible man. I would say, you know, you can't say that until he's officially in jail for what he's been accused of. But I would not say he's the best role model for young children, but I would definitely say he's not the worst. I think he keeps masculinity alive in a time of complete beta, women-pushed, feminine-pushed mindset on men to be that it's wrong to be a man, and that toxic masculinity, anything to do with being a man is toxic masculinity, are needed to show that, you know, maybe there's a line that's too far, but there's definitely a line that a man needs to be at, and you can't just brand everything a man does as toxic masculinity, and that men are in essence to just act like women. So I would not say that. I would say Andrew Tate, he's a so-so kind of character, but I don't think he's as bad as people make out, because like I said, he's not in prison yet, and that's all I can say.
Waste. They'll probably just take a screenshot of the thumbnail without even watching it, post it on Twitter with a caption saying I'm not watching this, and proceed to say I'm a terrible woman-hating man without even knowing me or my content, even though I've condemned these type of men multiple times. I promise y'all that exact situation will happen. I'm playing chess, alright? I know the game. I want to say this epidemic of femcells really started in 2020 when a trend known as, and I'm not even joking, this was the actual name for the trend, hashtag all men was started. It started on TikTok and
so you see, this was like, how long ago did he say that was? Right there. Right there.
Really started in 2020 when a
so 2020, so 4 years ago. That's just what he's picking up on, right? That was the hashtag then. So even if that's 4 years ago, you can see that mentality is there. Hashtag delete all men. That was the hashtag, and that trended. So it shows you that the hatred for men is there in women. Not all, but it's there.
A trend known as, and I'm not even joking, this was the actual name for the trend, hashtag all men was started. It started on TikTok and Twitter back in 2020, and women would post the hashtag in their captions for anything. Could be just for fun, could be something actually criticizing a man for. It was thrown around willy-nilly and was used as a word sometimes when they had nothing to say. Like, a girl could be proven wrong on something, then when she had nothing else to say, she would reply with hashtag KAM or all men. There would be long comment threads of a bunch of women saying it, and I honestly think this was one of the things that started lighting the gender wars on fire. Pre-2020, gender wars were not even close to as big as post-2020. Because after this, you started to see the podcasters come out and make a whole genre out of gender wars. The moment this started happening is when I knew it was getting out of hand. And it made it worse that TikTok wasn't really doing anything about it at first. Like, I understand Twitter or Warzone will never have peace, but you would think TikTok would be on it to ban something like this. Now it's completely banned and you can't use that phrase. But I guarantee if dudes tried to start a hashtag KAW or all women trend on there, it would have been packed in a day, and every account associated with it would be banned and doxxed. Their excuse for this trend at the time was that they were trying to make the message sound drastic and they obviously didn't mean all men. And if you were a man that found a problem with it, then you were probably one of the type of men they were talking about. This excuse to me is absolutely stupid as because what average man.
So this is another example of women are not held accountable to a standard that keeps them in line, and they pretty much get away with anything. That's the reality, the sad reality, and that's why women are so out of control. Women are, by design, beings who need boundaries and frame. And if they're allowed to come out of that, they just become like petulant children who misbehave and have no boundaries. And the limitation on the levels of evil and insanity just becomes endless, because there is no accountability and no boundaries for them. And that's what we're witnessing.
Man is gonna want to have a reasonable debate about, I don't know, gender norms or something with you, when in the statement of your movement it literally says to put an end to them. And to me, this movement was hypocritical, because you know damn well if men started a KAW trend and try to be like it's not all women, obviously only the bad manipulative criminal ones, they would get thrown at them, rightfully so. Or imagine we use this for something like race, even a worse example. Hashtag all black people rob, man. Let's get the movement trending. Bro, what'd you say? Nah, like Obviously not all of y'all, only the ones that actually do it. Why are you even getting offended? You're trying to rob me, that must be why. This trend was probably one of the most extreme examples that actually became a thing on the internet. I don't think we'll see something like it ever again, like this was really pushing it. Instead now, they'll just put something like hashtag all men are trash, which I can at least take that. At least in the message name, it's not advocating for the annihilation of men. A lot of this man-hating rhetoric, I guess we could call it, comes from one main source I notice a lot of times: female celebrities. When anybody's favorite celebrity says something outlandish, they're usually more hesitant to condemn it and more likely to agree. And no, I'm not talking about music and lyrics, like Megan Thee Stallion saying something like all these is cheaters or something, because at that point we could pick on every male artist that says something about women, you know. I could care less about lyrics. I'm talking about more of the statements they make. I'm sure y'all know about the whole Biba Doobie crash out thing by now. Everybody talked about this. Might be top 5 stupidest things I've seen any celebrity ever get mad at, but the casual way she just threw out her man-hating to her audience was so funny to me.
And you're still a man. I know men are mad at me because I probably get more girls than them, and I'm not even gay.
It's mostly men. Like, call me sexist, but I don't think a girl would be like, I was wanking off to that BB Doobie video. I was wanking off to that BB.
This shows to me she knew she wasn't gonna really get any crazy repercussions by saying it. Like, they wouldn't cancel her shows over it. And stuff like this makes me upset, because if it was the other way and a famous male singer said something like you're still a woman, he's like 100 times more likely to face some type of repercussion. A lot more of the time, it's more accepted in society for a female celebrity to say something on men. And I don't know if some of these female celebrities don't think this through before saying things like that, but they do also have male fans. Like, you don't think a couple of your male fans would see something like that and not want to associate with you anymore?
Yeah, and then you get the simp men white knights. They're not even men, simp betas, who will back these women up and say, yeah, those chauvinistic toxic males are just horrible for this world. We need more soft, feminine men who bow down to women. That's what the world needs. Screw those toxic masculine men for being men. That's the reality. He's right.
Even if a majority of their fans are women, it's just a dumb thing to do to cut off a good portion of your fans. Like, for me, even though my viewership is about 90% women and 10% men, don't fact check that, I would never insult my male fans because that's mean to them. Okay, but on the real though, I couldn't even imagine myself saying something like all women are trash or I hate all women, because to me that's disrespectful to all the hardworking women in my life that have helped me and just out there in general. I don't know, I think I'm just thinking too logically. Okay, let me know if I should start saying it, y'all. Billie Eilish was also getting slandered a couple of years ago for this stuff, because she would come out saying things about men that were pretty stupid. Like, there was this one time she said men don't get body shamed because girls are nice. Nobody ever says a thing about men's bodies. If you're muscular, cool. If you're not, cool. If you're real thin, cool. If you have a dad bod, cool. If you're pudgy, love it. Everybody's happy with it. You know why? Because girls are nice. They don't give a because we see people for who they are.
So, if you never heard, men have got to be at least 6 foot, make 6 figures, have a 6-pack. Men have got all these requirements. Women don't body shame? Are you sure they don't height shame? A lot of nonsense, of course they do. It's the most prominent thing that they do. So this is the hypocrisy and the delusion that women live in, and you have to be aware of it. And once you start to see a woman as living in delusion, run. Run as fast and as far as you can, and it'll be the best journey you've ever took in your life.
Coming from a man that was on the pudgier side, I can let y'all know right now this is not remotely close to true. You know how many anytime they get in an argument with their girl over something, the first thing she's saying is something about his body. He can't get it upright. He's, dare I say it, fat. She was getting sauteed over this take. I think Billie realized though, saying stuff like this isn't good for PR, so she stopped.
And I have to admit, I do think Billie Eilish, like, I'll be honest, like, I think she is really hot, and I know you might laugh, but there's just something about her that I do think she's hot. But her take on men and her whole feminist sort of image is not good. It's clear as day, and even with statements like what she said there, it just shows that it's a deluded, one-sided mindset and only seeing. Basically, like I said, it's a mindset of no accountability and being able to say and do what you want, and it's just accepted because they're women. And it needs to stop. Women need to start getting shamed. They need to start getting held accountable. That's the only way we can rein this in and get things back on track. Because if we keep allowing women to be deluded and spew whatever nonsense they want, do what they want, when they want, why they want, where they want, say they're better than men are trash, whatever, just disrespect us and hate us, where is that ever going to lead to a prosperous society? Never. It's just going to be the destruction, and we're actually seeing the destruction of society before our very eyes right now.
Stop saying it. I haven't seen her saying something like this in a while, which is good because what does saying stuff like that do other than alienate your male fan base and future fans? The thing a lot of femcels don't realize too is they quite literally breed the men they hate. In modern times, the average way a dude is becoming an incel. Wow. I can't believe I'm teaching incelology. Like an actual incel. I'm not talking about the word where they just throw it on any man. Is he'll see something extreme like the hashtag all men trend. Already if he feels isolated in his life, he gets even more mad over how he's getting hated as a man for no reason. Then tries to find comfort in someone who accepts him. Which is a lot of times the Andrew Tates and Fresh and Fits. And ends up with some radical ideology that's just crazy. It's like they're throwing coal on a fire and asking why the blaze keeps going. Now of course the opposite happens too with these incels. But I think with one, you're able to go way more rampant with it before having anything happen. I mean, look at someone like Andrew Tate, for example. There was a certain point he got banned everywhere and got repercussions for his comments. The only social media he had left was Hustlers University. And I see a lot more men condemning people like Andrew Tate than the opposite way. Like, none of my homies in real life were writing him and actually followed the Tate way. They thought the memes were funny at first, but after he fell off, no one really cared. Something that happened recently, which actually kind of sparked me up on even making this video, is something that Doechii said. If you don't know Doechii, she's been having a breakthrough as a female rapper in the past year. She's been having a bunch of viral songs and trends on TikTok, and like I said at the start of this video, she signed to Kendrick Lamar's label. She never really got in controversy until that clip I played at the start, and I was kind of disappointed when I saw the clip, because there's certain people that you don't expect to say dumb stuff like that. Like if it was Cardi B or something, I would say expect it. But off of what I've seen from Doechii and her creativity and her craft, I wouldn't expect her to say something like that. And some people might be like, oh my god, Tommy, you're really offended over that? I could give less of a shit about the actual comment. If I made a video every time on all the dumb comments like the ones Doechii and Billie Eilish made and were made by female celebrities, this channel would have like over 1,000 videos. To me, it's more of the precedent it sets and trying to make it a casual thing. I think a good example right now is how Elon Musk is getting protested for all his bullshit, and that people are boycotting Tesla and not buying them because people want to make it known that they don't accept it.
Thank you all very much. I love Tesla. I love Tesla.
A lot of times too, just like in the Doechii video, they try to specify it as much as possible, like saying straight man, because you know, they don't want to be offensive and be called the big H-phobic. That would be terrible for their PR, and you know, only straight men do bad things. They acting like there ain't any terrible gay men out there. Look at Diddy. Anyways, wrapping it up, I do think we're getting better as a society of ignoring these type of people, and also calling out when someone says something stupid like this. For the Doechii video, for example, I was just checking different TikToks trying to figure out what was going on about this. And I saw a lot of women saying what she said was pretty dumb. Like, the birth rates are already at their peak declining. Do we need to be having any more gender arguments?
So that's what I'm saying. This is where we're heading, where women have this mentality. And I have to kind of agree when, you know, guys like Andrew Tate create the extreme version of that. You know, he's kind of got a mindset that will create, I suppose, incels, or you could say women haters. Because the way he talks about women, it does lack respect. My only gripe with modern women is that they're self-centered, they hate men, and they're the furthest thing from traditional. If, like I said, we can start holding women accountable, force them into accountability, not let them away with anything just because they're a woman, and actually put them in a frame and get back to a society where men have more of the say, and you can call us a bit sexist, but put women a bit back in the box a bit, because it's just wild. Like I said, if you don't give a woman boundaries and a structure, they become wild, petulant children with no boundaries or self-control. That is the reality.
And on the other gender.
And that leads to no kids, no families, just single people everywhere.
just because? Like, let's just leave that in 2022, dude. You gain nothing from it other than more division and more fighting. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. As always,
And then I think even as well, I'm not 100% sure, but I have definitely, I'm not sure on the exact stats, but even women, if they think they're so great, I think that the lesbian divorce rate is higher than like straight people, you know, the traditional marriage, and the abuse is higher or just as high in lesbian relationships. So it kind of shows you that the common denominator is that women are out of control right now. And anybody who knows the traditional norms, women need frame, women need boundaries, women need men to lead them for the yin and the yang to work properly. You know, if that gets through out of centre and out of whack, then everything else just falls apart, and we're literally witnessing that right now. Women have no respect for men, and that is a big problem, because men fundamentally run the world. And let's be real, if every man in the world decided to just turn against women, we could do whatever we wanted and make yous do whatever we wanted. So don't forget that. That is the reality. That's not a threat, that's just reality. If every woman turned against every man, what could you really do? What could women really do to men? So you have to respect men, just by default. Not go into a deluded mindset where you're like, men are worthless, they don't do nothing, we don't need men, you know, delete all men. That is just living in a deluded la-la land, and this is a problem with modern society. So I just want to make this video and say, look, as a man, you need to be aware that women, there's a lot of women out there who do hate men, and like I said, you need to be aware of that. Not all women are sweet and kind, and even if they seem that way, you don't know what they think on the inside. And this is why you need to realistically be able to see a woman who respects a man, and you need to learn a way to see a woman who hates a man, and it's not that hard to see. So if you see it, don't ignore it, you know. At a minimum, just walk away. Do not entertain a woman who has any or harbours any hate towards a man, or you're just setting yourself up to live with a demon, and that is only ever going to destroy your life. So until the next time, peace.